Yo, what is going on, homies? It is Ross Brightside. Again, 2 videos within a week span. It is a miracle. Ow. I was sitting there thinking, what can I make a video talking about? Just like right in front of a character. I was laying in my bed last night thinking, what could I make a video about that I could just sit in front of my camera? And then I thought about it. I have a pretty, it's not too big, but it's a pretty beefy, not beefy, more like chickeny, the music collection, because I actually like to collect CDs. So I just wanted to talk about the CDs that I own and who the artist is, what they mean to me, the origin of how I got it. And I'm probably gonna go pretty quick fire through this, nothing deep, but if there's any like artist I talk about or story you want to see in another video, let me know down in the comments. So let's just friggin' start. I'm dumb, she's a lesbian. I thought I had found. This is a Weezer album called Weezer Hurley. For a lot of these, you can't see the CD because it's in my car in a CD holder I have, but this one's in there, and that's for a good reason. I've never fucking listened to this. This was given to me by my friend Kramer. I have no inclination to listen to this Weezer album. Listen, I like the first 2 and a couple songs in the 3rd Weezer album, but beyond that, I have no interest. So I have never listened to this. It just has this random guy on it. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that one. I'm gonna actually reorganize these real quick. Luigi, I just want to touch you all over your manly chest. Want to bury my face in your breast. Luigi, you're so freaking sexy, and you've got me in a trance, so Bowser doesn't stand a chance. Go save the day. I am truly sorry that you had to hear the entirety of my cover of Sexy Luigi by Peanut Butter Gamer. I have very rarely listened to this. I've had this since I was a kid. I didn't actually get this from like an official source or from like the Galaxy game. Someone just gave this to me and I have it, and I don't even have the case for it anymore. I didn't even know I still had this, and that's all I gotta say about that. So you gotta fire up, you gotta let go. You'll never be loved till you made your own. Now you can laugh at me all you want about me. Oh, you have an Imagine Dragons album? What a loser. Listen, I know a bunch of their music sucks. Even though I like a lot of it, I have actually quite a deep personal connection with like the music of Imagine Dragons. I listen to a lot of their stuff in pivotal moments of my teenage years. We're just gonna talk about Smoke and Mirrors because legitimately this is like their best album. It doesn't have a lot of corny ass songs on it. It has a lot of good songs, and I listened to it a lot while riding the bus my senior year because I didn't have a license, and I'd play Stardew Valley on my Switch while listening to this album, and I'm always brought back to that when I listen. Like, I was very scared my senior year of high school. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. Like, I was fully convinced that everything would end the day I graduated. So it was a lot of feelings were going around in my brain. And so whenever I listen to this, I'm brought back to the good parts of those times because it wasn't all bad. And I don't remember when I got this album. I listened to it on Spotify when I listened to it. And eventually, I'll really like an album, and then I'll get it physically because I just like having something physical to hold. Good Imagine Dragons album.
I want to hear anything about it in the comments.
Oh, look at all the lonely people. This was given to me by Kramer a couple years ago for Christmas. I've only listened to it one time. I do enjoy Beatles. I got into them actually after I graduated high school, which is kind of crazy. That's it. I don't have anything to say about it. I listened to it once. It was enjoyable. I don't have any personal connection with it, though. Because I'm telling you the truth! I mean this! I'm okay! Trust me, I'm not! This is a big one. We'll just talk about 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge first. I love this album. It has a lot of good songs on it. And I listened to a few that would play automatically, like, in a playlist. I didn't actually, like, fully
know every song a while after I bought the physical album. It's a good album. I like it. It's a good pairing piece to this one.
A phantom to lead you in the summer, to join
The Black Parade, emo anthem. This is a bit of an anomaly compared to everything else so far, and everything else I've got there. Because most albums I listen to on Spotify and on YouTube, and then later I would buy the physical version because I wanted to show I collected. But for this one, the anomaly with this one is I knew 2 of these songs before I got this album. Like, I knew nothing about My Chemical Romance. I heard Teenagers and Welcome to the Black Parade and Famous Last Words. I knew 3 of them. But I just bought this album because I was like, you know what? I want these 3 songs. And I fell in love with every song. I've learned like almost all the words to all of them after buying this album. And I didn't even know the names of the songs for the longest time. I just listened to it in the car over and over and over and over again. This is similar to the Imagine Dragons album, where I listened to this in a very important time in my life. It was after I graduated. It was when I first got my car in like the beginning of 2020, and I was having like very bad anxiety all the time. Depersonalization, derealization. It was a bad time. But this got me through it. I would listen to this all the time. So now whenever I go back to this, I think about that time, but in a positive way. It doesn't make any sense. That was a very negative part of my life. I love this album, and I cherish owning this DVD.
Get it together.
Let me tell y'all what it's like being male, middle class, and white.
This is one of 2 things of CDs I have here which have bigger stories to go along with them. But I'll give a brief synopsis. So, Ben Folds 5. And Ben Folds. Ben Folds did a song with an artist named Regina Spektor, which we will get into later, which got me into Ben Folds, and I finally started listening. And I listened to Ben Folds, Rockin' the Suburbs, a lot, and it really got me into him. And slowly, I listened to his other albums.
'Cause everyone knows now that every night now will be Steven's last night in town.
Not this one as much. I actually bought this like late last year because I just wanted another Ben Folds album, and it's enjoyable. It is enjoyable. There's not much to say about it. There's a few songs in here I enjoy. That's about it.
We're told we are capable of anything.
So there, I listened to when I started going to college in 2021. Because my first year of college was online because of COVID-19. But I listened to this when I first started going in person. And a lot of these songs, again, just take me back to that time. But that time in my life was like all positive. So it's like ultra positive. And I listened to this album when I saw Ben Folds live. Yes, this is one of 2 artists and albums that I have seen live. I went with Luke and Genesis, and it was my first concert ever, and it wasn't like a yeah concert like I went to later. It was just a normal concert, and it was awesome seeing someone I listened to a lot over the past like year and a half before that year. Seeing him live, it was truly remarkable. It was so cool, and now that I listen to all 3 of these albums and more on my phone, it's just like I saw him live. I saw a truly like individual remarkable show because he referenced where he was playing and he made jokes based off where he was playing. I didn't get it because it was in a town I'd never been to. That's only part 1 to Ben Folds, okay? Here's something I have not revealed about Ben Folds. I have this album freaking signed by Ben Folds. I bought it way before I met him. So here's what happened. There's this local game store, or it's like a collectible CDs, DVDs. It's got all the works. It's in Maine, where I'm from, and there's some in New Hampshire. And they were like, yeah, Ben Folds is going to be here. It's free. Just come here if you want to meet him. I met Ben Folds. Proof. I met the man, and I made him laugh. Me and Luke, aka Kramer, made him laugh. And it's so awesome. Not only that I got to see him live, I got to shake his hand. I get to shake someone I listen to's music's hand. And like, this is such a connection I have with no other artist, even my favorite artist of all time. And it's just amazing. If you want to hear more about the actual story of going to the concert, let me know down in the comments. There's a lot more, like, intricacies to the story I'd love to tell you about.
Hey, I know I was lost, but I miss those days.
This is a good album. I love this album so much. I listened to it, like, also while I was in my first year of college. And it's just genuinely good music. I do have a connection with it, but nothing as raw as anything else. It's just, Bleacher is gone now. It's very interesting music. The guy on the cover who sings the songs worked with Taylor Swift. He was part of Fun. So, yeah, Bleachers. Awesome. Awesome Bleachers. Okay, he wants to get down.
How does a bastard, orphan, son of a whore and a Scotsman, dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean by Providence, impoverished and squalor, grow up to be a hero and a scholar, the $10 founding father without a
I was not into Hamilton when it was big, okay? I'll be honest with you. I was not into Hamilton when it was big. I actually got into it way later, and it's a whole story, my journey with Hamilton, and I've already explained so much about Ben Folds. All you need to know is that the obsession that people have with Hamilton, that you make fun of, I was full throttle. A stereotypical Hamilton fan. 2020, I believe, was when it was. Summer of 2020 into the fall. And it really did not die down for a while. Like, it still plays randomly in my mixes. And it's like, I love Hamilton. And I got this album from Luke. They had this, I really wanted it, and I was like, wow, I really want to get that. And it was Christmas time, and they were like, you know what, you can have it. And I'm so grateful. I'm so glad I have the physical version of this album. Such good music, such good acting in the live version on Disney+. 10 out of 10. Awesome.
I love you, Jesus Christ.
If you watched my book club video with Luke, you would know we like this. We literally sang it. They also mentioned Neutral Milk Hotel. The only girl I ever loved. Again, this one connects me to the summer of 2019, which I need to talk about that in a video or something, because that is like my canon event of my adult life. I listened to one song on it. Later, as the years went on, I listened to the rest of the album, and I got the physical version. I love it. I love this album. It's very unique. It's very underground, as they say, and I'm glad I own it.
Oh, therapy, can you please fill the void?
Classic Green Day. This is just Green Day American Idiot. What else can I say? It's Green Day American Idiot. A lot of people like it. I like it. I don't even remember when I got this. I slowly listened to Green Day's discography from middle school to high school to where I am now. And this is the summation of enjoying Green Day. That's about it. So this next part, I talk about both albums at the same time. So I'm going to play both audio snippets of me singing the songs from each album at the same time. Please enjoy this chaos.
Everybody live now. Everybody fucks. Everybody live it.
This is System of a Down. I've got 2 of their albums. I believe they have 4, and they might have more. Bars. Something you may have noticed that I've kind of alluded to is I'll listen to one song from an artist, and then I'll be like, yeah, I like this, and then I won't come back until way later, and then I'll listen to a little bit more, and then eventually I'll springboard to listening to the whole albums, getting really into them. And System of a Down is a poster child for that, because I knew Chop Suey, but I didn't go back till later. And then I listened to BYOB. When I started going to a second school, because I went to a community college and then a university. When I went to my 1 year at this university, I didn't continue. I didn't like it. But when I went to this 1 year at the university, I got really into System of a Down. And I listened to them over and over from all 4 of their albums. And they just have such a unique sound I never appreciated before. It's like metal with a purpose. It's like screaming with a purpose. You know, it's enjoyable, and I love it. And that's all to say. I bought one of these albums when I first started getting into them, a little bit into it. Here's some footage from that. I actually have footage from me buying both of these albums, surprisingly. Footage from this album. They have so many good albums. Oh my god. Prison Song Needles. Oh, I love this song. I might get this one. And footage from this album. Ooh, good album. I really like System of a Down. I got into them last year, so I got this album. As you saw in the store, the plastic had the title on it, but now it doesn't have it on it, which is actually pretty cool. But I'm going to listen to this album, and now I'm going to go back home, and next time I see you, I am going to be drinking soda. All that's to say is, I'm glad I have these albums, and go listen to System of a Down, because they make good music, and if you're not into it, you're not into it, you know?
We've got 50 good years left to spend down in the garden.
Welcome to A New Perspective. I originally talked about this album in the next one without the actual CDs because they were in my car, but it was really confusing. So a week later, yes, I'm wearing the same shirt again. I want to talk about these CDs because I have the album cases now. So that's why it's at A New Perspective. So we have Fun, Aim, and Ignite. This album is really, really awesome. We'll get into how I got into Fun in the first place with their second album, but with this first album, I particularly enjoy how non-produced / pop like it is. It feels very indie. A lot of the songs are they're simple songs, and I got into a couple of these in 2019, but I really didn't start listening to them till last year because I wanted to sit down and listen to the original album. So, yeah, and I got both this one and the next Fun album at the same time from my girlfriend Genesis last year for my birthday. Quality album. I love it. If you're going to listen to any of the Fun albums, like their other songs, please listen to this one. It's very original.
Oh my god! Have you listened to me lately? Lately, I've been fucking crazy.
Next, we have the other Fun album, Some Nights. Now, this has a couple very, very popular songs on it. We got Some Nights, We Are Young, Carry On. Those are the very popular songs, but it was 2019. It was before the summer. I was like, I really want to listen to their other songs. I'm going to force myself to get addicted to it. And it worked. I know all these songs. And I know I mentioned in the other Fun album that one feels less pop-like. There are some songs on here that aren't too pop-like, and really I love even the pop ones, obviously. I listened to this album a million times. Still a great album. Is the picture here? Yeah, see him right there, that guy? That's the Bleachers guy. So that carried on. Carry on! You've already had enough of me singing between each segment. But it carried on into my love of Bleachers, and this is, although I think Aim and Ignite is better, Carry On is a high quality album that I love very much.
Nobody said it was easy.
I got this right before I filmed this video, and I only knew The Scientists and Clocks, so I really don't have anything to say. It's just Coldplay, popular band. Got this album for 50 cents at a flea market, just including this in here because it kind of inspired the video. I got this and I was like, I should talk about the CDs I have. Coldplay.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Regina Spektor!
Finally, the freaking magnum opus. Look at this, look at this, look at this. I want you to get just mind blown about what I'm about to show you, because this is more than I have of anyone else. Okay, you ready for this? You ready for this? Boom! 5 albums. This is someone I mentioned earlier, the person who collabed with Ben Folds. Regina Regina Spektor, okay? And I'm missing an album here. I am missing an album, a physical album here. She has 8 studio albums, but 6 that were like released through a label. So it is extraordinarily difficult to get the first 2. Except I thought she re-released it, but I've never been able to find that one either. But this is her 3rd through 8th album, okay? And I'm missing one of them, but I do have it. I don't know where it is. Regina Spektor is so important to me, and I want to get into this, and I really want to make a video about this, like a documentary, not a documentary, a video essay about Regina Spektor, because she means so much to me. She's a pivotal part of my mental state, like a lot of these other songs, many different times in my life, and her music just inspires me. I have a lot of like fun stories involving her music, and she's the other artist I've seen live. It was a really fun story. I went with my girlfriend, and she wasn't even my girlfriend yet. We were still friends at the time, which is mind-blowing. I got to see her live, and it was one of the best moments of my life. She is an inspiration, and I love her, and I really don't want to get into it. I don't want to bloat the video with Regina, but I will tell you one thing about each of these albums.
I'm in love with your daughter.
Soviet Kish. This album is where she starts to get into her own style. It has a lot of bangers on it. And it's all about... It's a very negative album. It's very sad. There's a lot of very sad sounding songs in this album. I think my favorite song is The Flowers. No, Some Days. Someday... Okay.
Summer in the city means cleavage, cleavage, cleavage.
Begin to Hope is... Take Soviet Kish, it's even better. It has so many bangers on it. And this album, it has... These all have unique sounds, but this one has Samson on it. That's all you need to know. That's one of her most popular songs. I love Samson. It's a great album. If you want to listen to any of these first, listen to this one.
They started off beneath the knowledge tree, then they chopped it down to make white picket fences, and then marching along the railroad track, they smiled real wide for the camera lens.
This is the first album I listened to by Regina Spektor. It really brought me into her world, and I freaking love it. It's a very piano-filled, it even has a piano on the front and back, very piano-filled album, but a lot of goddamn bangers.
And you'll wish that it was lying.
What we saw from the Cheap Seats is really when I explored Regina's like entire discography. Like, it was the catalyst, because I listened to her 5th Far and her 7th one, which I don't have here. I listened to those a lot. Then when I finally listened to this one, I listened to all of her albums except the early ones, and her songs that aren't on albums, because she has a shit ton of those. And this album is, it's between this and the 8th one, which is my favorite, but this one has so many songs on it. And my favorite song on this album is Firewood. I'm not doing the favorite song thing, it's too complicated, but I can tell you Firewood's my favorite.
Until you walk by a sad pair of eyes, and up will come back all the hurt.
This is a record version of this album, because I don't know where my CD version went, and this is the only record I own. This is Remember Us to Life. It was the 2nd album I listened of hers. This album is very pop-like, you know, it feels a little bit produced. It's the first of the albums that has a live band associated with it, and I didn't like it for a while, but I've gone back to it and I do really enjoy it. It is a bit weak compared to all of her other albums, except the 2nd one, but I love this album. It made me like Regina more. That's about it.
Let's go to the movies. I will hum you a song about nothing at all.
And finally, we have her latest album. See, you have to understand about all these other ones. They were all out before I got into her. Like, Remember Us to Life came out just before I really got into her. So I didn't get the hype of hearing a new album. Her 7th album came out in 2016, and it was like bone dry. We got nothing. And then in like January 2022, like, people are like, oh, she's never gonna go live again. She did go live again. release of this album. And she's never going to make another album again. I'm like, no, that can't happen. I want another one. I want the excitement. And then she started releasing songs for this album, and I was so hyped for the song. The morning this came out, I listened to half of it before work, and then I listened to the other half. And this is probably one, if not my favorite album from all 8 of them. It's just so good. All the songs on it, it amps up the live band part of it. It even, like, I have a headcanon of a story that goes along with it. All the songs are produced so well. They're sang so well. They're all interesting. None of them are too weird or too boring. It's a banger of an album. Probably one of my favorite here. Between this one and this one, I love this album. And it even has Loveology on it, which is a banger song. So, that's it. That's all the CDs I own. So, that's about it. I don't have much else to say. I've said everything I want to say. If you want to see me talk about Ben Folds, Regina, or anything else I talked about in this video more, let me know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This channel's very small compared to my 67 channel, which is my main channel where I do short films. Go subscribe to that too. But please subscribe. I want to make more videos like this. It's a lot of fun just sitting in front of a camera and talking about stuff I love. If you want me to talk about other stuff I own, like books and video games, I have a lot of those, or any other collections, or any other ideas in general, let me know down below. You know what? Let's listen to a song from What We Saw from the Cheap Seats, since I like the album so much.
I love Paris in the rain. I love Paris in the rain. I love in the rain. Oh, I love Paris in the rain. I love Paris in the rain. I love in the rain. Oh, I love in the rain. Oh, I love in the rain. Oh, I love in the rain.